Welcome to this episode of What Matters, and today we have another exciting episode. I'm pleased to greet my guest, Desiree Ch. Thank you for coming, Desiree.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Desiree is the owner, founder, proprietor of Her Garden. I love the name of her service because that's exactly what it is. It is her garden.
Exactly what it is our gardens.
So today I'm going to give you guys a bit of a disclaimer. If you're squirmish, if you have issues speaking about the human body, if the word vagina makes you uncomfortable, this is not the show for you.
This is not the episode for you.
This is not the episode for you because we're going to be talking all about that this episode. So let's start at the beginning where I tend to like to start. Desiree, tell us. Okay, first of all, what is it that you do at Her Garden?
What I do is V-steaming. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a steam for your vagina. Remember that keyword vagina there? So basically, I prepare the herbs for you, and if a woman has, let's say, issues with their menstrual cramps, their fibroids, or any type of woman problems we go through, I'll prepare the herbs. They sit over the steam for about 20 to 40 minutes, and then that's it. Their vagina gets a nice little cleansing, flushing out the toxins, and getting that blood going down there.
Okay, and so how long have you been doing this?
Over a year.
Over a year, and how did you get started?
So long story short, because this is a story, Erica. I had an IUD that got put in. When I was in high school, I've always had irregular periods. So in high school, started my journey with birth control pills because although I was not sexually active in high school, the doctors wanted me to regulate my period, but it wasn't working. Birth control really just makes me more sick than I wanted to be. And in high school, who wants to worry about being nauseous? I wanted to be a teen. So then as time got on, I had kids, and then I got an IUD put in, and it created a lot of problems down in my womb. So my stomach started shrinking, and at first I didn't see any problems with it because it was in there for about 3 years until my womb started just self-destructing on its own, started doing things. And although I was ignoring the signs, because you always know your body, but I'm making excuses for why my stomach would be hurting, or why my, different little things that my body was trying to tell me something's wrong. And I would go to the doctor, and the doctor would be like, no, everything's okay, it's just part of the IUD, having that, and steering me to just make me believe nothing was wrong. But in actuality, my IUD was shrinking my stomach. It was giving me irritable bowel syndrome. It was giving me it was throwing off my pH balance. It was doing the opposite of what it was supposed to do. Because my body was trying to figure out, do I accept this foreign object in your body, or do I reject it? What's going on? And then that's when the real issue started coming in. Where like my pH balance was going off, so I was getting like things like vaginal odor some days, where it was just like, although no one else could, I could smell myself. And a woman knows, when something's off.
Yeah.
So then I got it removed, and I had my tubes tied, and everything just started reversing as soon as it came out my body. It was like my body was like, and then it just started releasing everything that was. And then that's when I did a little bit more research on the IUD, and I was like, this is not good for my body. And I took it out. So then I started researching ways to flush my womb, because I just wanted an internal just flush. and V-steaming came up, but I was kind of ignorant to the fact. I was like, well, who steams their vagina? That's weird. It's just like, that's not a thing. And so then I kind of just bypassed it. Months later, I met up with a friend, and I was telling her about my issues with the IUD, and I brought it up, and she was like, you know, that's a thing, right? And I was like, who does that? Show me one person that does that. Then she pulled up Tia and Tamara, and they did it on their show. She showed me Gwyneth Paltrow doing it. She showed me Heather on Real House of Beverly Hills doing it. So I was like, oh, this is an actual thing. So I took out the ignorance, and I started doing a little bit more research into it.
I like that. Took out the ignorance. Put it aside.
I put it aside, and I was like, let me do a little more research into what this is. And I found it was a holistic way of naturally flushing my system. And I was like, oh, this sounds like this is exactly what I was looking for. Did it, and I fell in love.
And you fell in love.
That started my journey.
So a few points that I'd like to make, a few things she's touched on. For the parents out there that are watching, and as I always hope there are some young people out there watching, the parents that are out there watching, especially the dads, I would think, that idea of birth control for regulation of menstruation is real. When periods are irregular, what a lot of doctors will suggest is that you take these artificial hormones to make everything balanced, because
kind of trick your body.
Yeah, so you know, before your first child, because I was the same way, before your first child, sometimes it's very irregular, it's all over the place, and so they will suggest that. Now, with a lot of the new literature that we have and the new findings we have, we know that birth control is a whole other set of problems, which I don't know enough to go about, but if you do the research, I know that there are a lot of people now against it. And then with IUDs, I know for myself, years ago when I had considered getting one, I'd ask the doctor how they work, and he's like, well, we don't know. I said, what? He's like, well, we figure that, you know, because there's a foreign body in there, that's probably what stops the embryo from, probably, maybe, figure, none of this sounds medical to me.
And the horror stories you hear, because I made a post.
They get lost, they travel.
They fall out. There's so much things that happen. And I made a post one time, and it was like this woman put it in, and she ended up losing her toes, her ovaries, and she lost a whole bunch of things and she was just a 1% chance of it happening to her. And then when I made that post, the amount of DMs and messages I got, like, this was a horror story. Even women that don't even have a baby and they got the IUD put in, they can't find them. I went to school with someone, and she thought the whole time it was in there. She went for a checkup, and they don't know at what point it dropped out.
Or where it is, or what.
Where it is. She did MRIs, CAT scan. It's nowhere in her body. So she's now having sex thinking she's nice and secure, but the whole time she wasn't.
So that's my limited knowledge about IUDs. That's an intrauterine device.
Yep.
Literally, that's what it is. It's an intrauterine device. What does this device do? We're not too sure, and they have different shapes. Some even come with chemicals like the Mirena that you put in your arm, and sometimes it will release. But my piece of advice about anything that you take, you're given, always ask your doctor how it works.
Research.
Do I really need to take this? You would be shocked how many times when you ask, do I really need to take this? The answer will be no, you don't. It's a suggestion. It's, you know, remember, they always have their prescription pad, so they're ready to write scripts.
Write it down.
So always ask if it's something you need. Ask how it works. Do your own research. Yes, doctors hate Google patients, but at the same time,
I'm always dying when I go and Google.
you definitely do need to do your research. So through your own experiences with a lot of mismatching with what would we call them? Not cures, but preventative measures. That's what brought you to study on vag steaming and then actually do it as a practice.
I did it on myself for a little bit, and then I was like, what first got me into the market was that it's not down here. It was really hard to find someone to do it on myself. And I found a spa that did it, and they never called me back. Not one time did they return my message. And I was like, I guess my vagina's not good for them. I was like, all right, I'll just do it on my own. And then I met a girl, and her friend actually just got into doing herbs. So we connected, and then I started getting the herbs from her, and then I just gave it a shot, and I fell in love with it. Just the feeling it gives me is just a fresh, clean feeling. And knowing that your vagina is your power source, when that's always in tip-top shape, you feel so liberated. You feel great. And I fell in love with it. And then my friends started saying, you know, you should do it more. You should do it to other people. It's not out here. And I could create a little lane to open up the talks of vagina and the talks of vaginal care and all of those things and the benefits to it. Because there's a lot of benefits to V-steaming. You get increased lubrication, you get vaginal tightening, you get shorter periods, you get less menstrual cramps. It controls your bacterial vaginosis, it controls your yeast infections. There's so much things that it could do. It pulls out your toxins. There's so much things. And I know it works from the testimony from the hundreds of women that message me like they have 3-day periods now because they're consistently steaming. They don't even get any back pains, no bloating. So I know it works.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's and for it to all be natural. So when we come back from this break, not that she's going to give us all of her secrets, but she will tell us some. So I'm really interested to know what herbs are in the a vag steam, and you did discuss some of the benefits. And then I'd like to know a bit about the misconceptions, because you know I've heard a bit about it and how you know it's just such a waste of time and why would you do that and you don't need to clean it and all of those things. So when we are back from the break, we are going to talk more about vaginas.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Inside my house, what the fuck dog, we could move nothing, I lost everything up. Balls, I get to take out nothing, just a few please.
Welcome back. And this week we have our special guest, the owner proprietor of Her Garden, Desiree Ch. So, Desiree, you were telling us about vaginal steaming. So that is what Her Garden is. It's a vaginal steam service. And I actually, the first and so far only time that I've ever had it done, it was by Desiree's. So it came by and we actually ended up having a little bit of a vag steam party, for want of a better way to put it.
Yeah, it was a me day party. Yes,
it was a me day party. And what's really, when you assemble women together doing any type of self-care, it is amazing the conversations that come forth. Be it at the hairdresser, the nail technician, vag steaming, whatever it is, when makeup, when women get together and practice any type of self-care, the conversations that come forth and the realistic exchanges, it's a really wonderful thing. And at that party, it was a group of older women, a group of younger women, and we kind of cross-shared wisdom, you know.
And I appreciated that because you got experience from all around. So not only did the older women learn, but so did the younger women. And it kind of got that, like, that new way of thinking about certain things, certain situations, how you react to certain things and why certain things last longer. So I appreciate that. I like when it mixes like that.
It was really wonderful. So we do have a picture of the setup of what it is. And it's, well, Anisha, there we go. Anisha's going to bring it up because it's better described.
My little domain.
Explain how that works.
So those little lovely chairs there, I would boil the herbs. Some herbs that I like to use, I'll give you a few, but rosemary, which is a great odor eater, so that will automatically kill odors. things like calendula and mugwort and motherwort. These are all common herbs that I use. I'll boil it and then I'll pour it into that little silver part there, and all you do is you wrap and sit, and that's it.
So see, there's nothing being exposed.
Nope.
Nothing is being shown.
No vaginas are ever seen in the process of V-steaming.
Yes, we even have a disclaimer. There it is.
Never will I ever seen your vagina. I think I've only seen one vagina, and she willingly just answered the door naked, and I didn't, because I am mobile as well. I didn't ask her to be naked, and then she covered up. But other than that, I don't see vaginas.
So it's very, very discreet. It's literally you are sitting down on a stool type thing. You have your drape around you, your blanket, your sari, whatever you want to call it. Have a cup of tea. You sit, you chat. You can sit in silence. But it's very, very discreet.
Had tea yet.
No tea. Be spilling tea.
They haven't had tea yet.
You gotta bring that in. And the other thing that's really wonderful about it. Look how my cup is backwards. There we go. The other thing that's really amazing about it is how it feels, like how soothing it is. I mean, anytime you're around steam and herbs, it's a wonderful feeling, but it really, really is a great feeling.
It calms you.
And something you had mentioned on our way in is that you're going to start having this for men.
Yes, I am. It is called a steam. In a few months, by the end of the year, I'm hopefully to open it up to men so men can come in, and it will help with sperm count, helps with stomach issues as well, it helps with hormones, so men have benefits as well. It helps with their prostate too, so it helps with any prostate problems. So hopefully men, you know, you're gonna be comfortable enough to sit down and let the steam go up.
Do its business. So
do its business.
What, and I can just see, I saw many men's jaws drop at this point where they're like, what?
And I've had a few men inquire about it already and ask me about it, so this is what's pushing me more to go ahead and do it.
Okay, so yes, that is very, very true. So there are 2 organs in your body that are completely self-cleaning. That would be your eyeball. Your eyes are made to clean themselves. That is what you have tears for. They are completely self-cleaning. The other thing that is self-cleaning is the vagina. You are very right. Now, that's the other thing too, is that people don't really know which parts are which parts. Yeah. Okay, so I'm in several groups for women, and in this one group, this great question came up, and somebody said, "How do you watch your vagina?"
It's a common question.
It's a common question.
It's a common question.
And you know, it's just like a lot of people are like, well, you have to know. No, someone needs to teach you to do these things. And if the person teaching you is wrong to begin with, you're really in trouble.
You're just screwed yourself.
Yeah, so you need to seek this information. And what was great in this thread is that different women were giving different responses, but the response I loved and saw the most and was so funny because it led to quite a bit of confusion is that a lot of women were like, well, you don't wash your vagina. And they were like, what? What kind of dirty gal are you?
Yeah,
and
that's what you hear.
They're like, you cannot put soap in your canal.
No.
And that's where the vagina is. It's the actual canal. All the other stuff outside, that is not. I mean, we call it
true.
We call it that, but that's not what it is.
The labia, all of that.
Labia, Mons Venus,
all of that.
All of that. So in terms of it being self-cleaning, yes, the canal itself is absolutely self-cleaning. That's what it was designed.
But the outside may need some help.
But the outside will need help. Another great question, because we are going to start getting it, like you have like a whole bunch of stuff to tell us.
Do.
And we are going to, you know, do a lot of disclaimers and dispel a lot of notions. But there are 2 things I want to bring up. And the gentleman out there that I'm speaking of, you know who you are, and I'm not going to call you by name. But I had one younger gentleman, and this was a few weeks ago, and he made a post saying, you know, he really, actually, before I say that, let me back up to a joke that I saw. I have to share this one with you. This guy on Twitter, he posted, he's like, you know, if I gotta start your business, I don't want it. And the girl responded, well, if you have to start my business, it doesn't want you
either. It's so true.
It doesn't want you. Dude, if it ain't ready, it doesn't want you. Okay, so I had to share that joke. It's my first joke on my show. Guys, come on, give it to me. And it's not even mine, but I loved it. And so the other one, so this gentleman, I speak to him, he's a younger guy. I love talking to him because he's so smart and so ridiculous in so many ways. And he made a post saying, you know, well, vaginas should smell like, I think it was vanilla and honeysuckle, or
Here we go.
It's crazy nonsense, lilies or something.
Yep.
And I wrote back, I said,
When you find that
honeysuckle
vagina, let me know.
plus vanilla equals yeast infection. And then I put a smiley face.
When you find that woman's vagina that doesn't have a yeast infection, it smells like honeysuckle and all types of things, you
let us know.
Tell her to call her garden.
What I explained to him was, vaginas smell like vaginas.
Yep.
And just like we all have different noses, and we have different finger shapes, we all have different smells, every part of us is different. And so that idea that someone is supposed to look exactly like something you saw before, please keep noses in mind every time you have that thought. Does your nose look like his nose? Does her nose look like her nose? No, it doesn't. Everybody has their own shape, smell, feel, everything else.
And I express that to each and every one of my clients. A lot of them out there know the one thing I say is that this is your power source. No one on this planet Earth can say that they have the same vagina as you. That's not possible. They may have a similar shape, they may have a similar look, but it's not the same. When it comes to odors, everyone has their own natural odor that they're supposed to have. It changes with everybody.
And it changes during the month, depending on the time, depending on your hormones, depending on your cycle, all of that. So when I saw this young man saying, I was like, dude, I don't know if you're ready for them. If this is what you think they're supposed to be like, I don't think you're ready.
No.
And, obviously there's a difference, like you said, between, what is the word, malodorous and normal, but it's a range, and it is not honeysuckle, it's not vanilla, it's not lavender, it ain't happening, so give that up. And you shouldn't use anything that is supposed to make you smell like that.
Which is a good point, because a tip is watch a lot of the reasons why women have, let's say, vaginal odor, and a misconception is the fact that women, as soon as you say, oh my gosh, I have vaginal odor, people think, oh my gosh, you don't watch your crotch. That's not true.
Sometimes it's because you watch it too much.
It could be a thing, and I have a client like that. She actually overwashes her vagina, and her doctor's like, you need to chill. But anything can cause it. Sweat, STIs, bacterial vaginosis, even the body wash that you're using, which you touched on that, which all store-bought body washes have chemicals in it that are not good for your body, especially feminine washes that are so specific on controlling your pH balance, it's actually throwing it off.
But
don't use them. Don't use them because they're not good for you. And we're in a time right now where so much natural stuff is out here right now for you to find natural body washes. I do sell them, but there's so much things out there though that you can find. It's so easily accessible in this time now than it was back then. We're so used to the store brand because that's what we were trained to do, but no,
yeah, take a look
at the ingredients, and if you can't say some of these ingredients, it shouldn't be going into your body.
And I'm a strong believer that if a method is 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 years old, there's probably something to it. You may want to look into it.
Yep.
You can alter it, but usually it's based on some good foundation and lots of experience.
It's true.
So, and the other thing before we cut to the next break is there's another gentleman that he's a great supporter, always shares the show. And today I had posted I should have sent it to Anisha. I posted another flyer, and it's of a lady covering up her little lady bits, and I knew it would capture attention, male, female, and I got a lot of response.
I got a lot of response.
And so I said to him, hey, why don't you switch the picture? And I could feel him gasp through my phone. He was looking at his phone like, what is she saying? And so he did it, but he confessed. He said, I was reluctant about sharing the show today. And he was even talking about the nice little flyer with you and me smiling all professional on it. And I was like, why? And he's like, well, I'm bashful. And I'm like, you're like a 40-year-old man with a child, and it just blows my mind. So it's really interesting, and I thank you so much, Desiree, for wanting to do this. And I'm telling you, she was enthusiastic. You're going to be seeing this lady again. This conversation, because as we're going to touch on when we come back from this break, the very word vagina is
it's
taboo.
Such a taboo topic.
Like you say, and people look at you like.
Or then they try and alter the word and say, let's not say vagina, let's say vajayjay, or
the
any
V or whatever.
Ta-ta, TT, whatever you want to call it, it's called a vagina.
All the time. So when we come back from this break, we're going to use that word a lot more. So if we haven't desensitized you yet, give us a chance. We'll be back after this break. And we're back. Today I'm here with Desiree from Her Garden, and we're talking about lady bits. The thing that half the world has and the other half is interested in, but yet we, for whatever reason, don't talk about it. We're shouldn't
scared
say
to talk
it.
about it.
Call it a vajayjay, call it anything else that you want, because it's
vagina.
impolite. You know, even in the danger in as children growing up, having just pet names for their parts. And don't get me wrong, I mean, every family works differently and they have pet names, but they should know what the actual name of each part is, because this is a nose and this is an earlobe and this is a finger, and
Don't wait for your schools to do it, because last year with the whole sex ed thing, last year my son learned the body parts, but you have to let them know first, so when they go in, they know what to expect and they know what you're talking about. You have to give them the real version versus the fake version too.
Absolutely. And then if you have a very specific word for it that only exists within your family, something could happen. And when you ask your child a direct question, they'll be like, well, no, he didn't touch my putang day. And everything's okay, because
I hope no one calls it a
they
putang
called
day.
it something else.
Yeah.
So, you know, teaching actual real scientific words of what something is called, it's important. It's important. Saying there's nothing wrong about it is an understatement. Yeah. And as I challenged my friend today, in that, and this is everything in your life, when something makes you uncomfortable, think about why. When we're uncomfortable, we tend to just fold up and run away and be like, well, I'm not liking this, so let me leave. And that's what we do.
To your comfort. You want to be comfortable.
You want to be comfortable. But sometimes when a situation or a conversation or even a person makes you uncomfortable, you should stop and figure, okay, I saw Erica's post. She said she's talking about vaginal care, and I don't know. This is not cool.
That's where people steer away.
No, that's not for me. Now, in your own time, just reflect on, why did that make me so uncomfortable? I'm not a teenager.
Especially women. That's what boggles my mind. You own one. So why are you uncomfortable speaking about something that you've had all of your life?
But because oftentimes it comes in how you're raised, right?
True. We're raised for it to be private, not talked about, a taboo topic. Don't talk about vagina. Don't say vagina. Don't talk about it to anybody, which is where we're in the problem now, where if I have an issue with my vagina, I can't call my friend and be like, hey, Erica, I'm having an odor. What do I do? What have you done?
Yeah, because it's so taboo, and you'd never tell anybody else, even though we're all...
Or you'll get judged for it. Yeah. Or they start thinking, oh my gosh, who does she do this with? And she's dirty and all of this.
And this is all a regular part of life. So what we're going to go into now is we're going to talk a bit about some taboos and some misconceptions. Like one of the things that I had told you is that, you know, you have women and men out there that think that if a vagina has any kind of odor, there's something wrong with it. It comes with one. It's like part of the
And
package.
any woman that has said they've never had an odor is lying. Because at one point, something happened to throw off your pH
And
balance.
it could be your food.
It could be your underwear.
Food. It could be too tight underwear.
It could be your tights. It could be your
polyester is not your friend. It is not your friend.
Cotton, ladies. Cotton is your best friend
The
down there.
nicest, laciest, bestest, most expensive undergarments, if they don't have a cotton crotch, you are going to have a problem. So here we go. You're up.
So for odor, ladies, wear more cotton panties, because you want the air, your vagina to breathe always, constantly. Try foods that have probiotics. So some foods I have written down for you guys. You could try incorporating more fruits and vegetables, things like grapefruits, pineapple, watermelon, berries, Greek yogurt, oranges.
We have to talk about the pineapple after.
Mangoes. There's so much fruits that are so nice for down there. What else do I have here? Wear loose-fitting clothing from time to time. I know, ladies, we like to wear tight clothes. This is just what it is. Tight dresses, skirts, pants, tights, whatever it is. But from time to time, it's good to wear track pants or things that are loose so it's not so tight at your crotch all the time. Keep up with your personal hygiene. I know this should be a common sense thing, but I've heard a lot of times where women are like, you know, they bathe every other day, or they bathe, you know, it's simple hygiene things of even changing your underwear every day. Some women, I don't know.
It's in how you're raised, and I've heard stories of women whose husbands have taught them how to care for themselves because of the way they were raised. They got a man and he was like, okay, I'm really sorry, but you're not doing this right.
And they taught them.
And they taught them. And this is why we have to share, and we've got to teach one another, because there are people out there that really don't know. And there's a big one you went over: reduce your stress. Stress is going to affect every and any part of your body. So remember that. And then
I skipped over it because I was going to say, for reduce your stress, a lot of women that have BV or yeast infections or things like that, it comes from stress.
Really?
So when you reduce that, you kind of reduce your hormones and things like that. It's just, research is such great things.
Absolutely.
Watch your diet and avoid using perfumes and scented products. I know we want down there to smell
like honeysuckle
lovely,
and
like
vanilla.
honeysuckle and vanilla, but those things are not good for down there, especially things like douching. Don't do it, girls. Don't do it.
It is not your friend. It's not for you.
You're stripping your walls.
You're stripping your walls. Like there's a balance, right? This is this magical thing.
Yeah.
And it has a certain amount of
acidity,
and if you mess with that acidity, that's where everything goes completely off track. So when
then you'll be seeing me.
Yeah, then you're well, try to come see her before we get into any types of problems. So tell us a bit about some of the taboos.
Taboos. To go commando or to not go commando. That is such a taboo topic, and every time I post about it, yes, women don't feel. And I did a poll one time, and I wanted to see how much women would go commando, and a lot of people were kind of like, they tensed up about it. They're just like, yeah,
really?
Shockingly.
Now I'm feeling away, because I don't know
about
all.
I go commando a lot,
right? And
because for me, it's good for the air. Like, I don't know, especially when you go to sleep. If you can't do it during the day, at least when you're sleeping, go commando and let it breathe all night. Let the cotton, the whatever polyester underwear you're wearing, just take it off and just let it. You could put on shorts, you could do whatever you want. Just don't wear underwear sometimes. But some women are not comfortable with that because it's taboo. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to know about it, or they do want to know, but they kind of like inch in with little questions like, what about when you do this? Because they want to know certain things because they don't want to talk about it. It's a taboo topic.
Commando?
Going commando. I was shocked too. I was like, this should be yes, who wears panties or not? But no, people were not. They were like,
well, tensing. I do know that, like, from the previous generation, like, they were, you get dressed. You kind of get dressed and go to bed. And after I'm like, kind of like, this is a lot of stuff to have on to go to bed. I'm sleeping. I don't know.
As soon as I come home, everything comes off. What is a panty?
Yeah, my family's a family of nudists, guys. Honestly, we're a family of nudists. Even when it's a thing. Another one. Give us another one.
Odor. Such a taboo topic, and we've touched on it a lot today, but it is a taboo topic because women are not comfortable going to their friends or family or anybody, and shockingly, people are afraid to even go to the doctor.
How many people clean up and fix things before they go to the doctor?
They're scared to tell their doctor, and the biggest thing that you should do every year is get a Pap Test, because you have to know if things are going wrong or what's going on. And that's the perfect time to tell your doctor, hey, something's off or something's going on. But women are so embarrassed by it that they start getting into their minds, and then they start doing the Google thing, and then like, oh my gosh, my vagina's dying. And really, it's like, no, the soap that you're using is just off, and it's just throwing you off. So that's what it is. That's what they think it is.
I love her.
But that's what it is. When you go to Google, you Google things, and you're like, why do I get odor? And then you start reading things, and you start getting scared, and then you're like, what happened? Do I have all these things? But no, it really could just be the underwear that you're wearing. It could be too tight. It could be anything.
Right.
Taboo. We talked about the word vagina because we could talk about penises, but we can't talk about vagina. Also, I read a fun fact. I was telling you on our way here, 1 in 4 men, 25% have erectile dysfunction. So there is, let me get the correct number for you guys, 398 studies for men. But little do people know that 40% of women actually have erectile dysfunction, and there's only 183 studies done to fix that. Why is that, ladies and gentlemen?
No,
why?
Hold on. You say erectile dysfunction.
I know.
And we have to go to break. but I'm slightly confused. So maybe when we come back from this break, she's going to clarify for us what this female erectile dysfunction is.
They just can't do the things.
And also to the other thing that we're going to touch on in our last segment are tips, little tips, big tips.
Things to avoid.
Things to avoid, things to do, things to help you be your best you and what keep your hoo-ha in its best condition.
Those gardens flourished.
Yes, keeping your gardens flourished. We'll be back after this break.
Inside my house, what the fuck dog, we could move nothing, I lost everything, clothes, I get to take out that in just a few please.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Welcome back, everyone, to this last segment of today's episode of What Matters with Desiree. You have such a perfect name for what you do as well.
Thank you.
Right? From Her Garden. And she does vaginal steams. And shortly, she will also be doing A-steams for men as well. So
I guess his garden? His
garden?
Her garden?
We're going to think this. She's a very...
Their garden. Their
like
garden.
Their garden.
Or maybe just your garden.
The garden.
The garden. Oh, that's a good one, too.
Yes.
The garden.
So we've come up with names for this. So Desiree's contact information will be below. They will be in the comments. I've tagged her on all the posts. So if you're looking at this video, you will see her name. You could click on it, and it's going to bring you right there. You'll also find her on Her Garden on Facebook. On Instagram is Her Garden XOXO. And then her email address is Her Garden Blossoms, right?
hergardenblooms.
That was so good. Hergardenblooms at gmail.com.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to book an appointment, she is in the GTA and she travels.
I am very much mobile. I go everywhere, so message me. I also post a lot of tips, things for you to do, a lot of information. So if you are looking for knowledge and just tips of what you could do, also message me if you are looking for tips for things that I haven't posted yet. I love researching, and I probably can find the answer for what you're looking for.
Awesome. And so also, too, you can book your party. Like I said, it was a really amazing experience. And
I love groups. And I do have
nice.
a lovely promotion for November as well, is if you do book in a group, at the end of the month, I have a gift basket that I'm giving away. I'm raffling off. So it has a lot of self-care goodies for women down there. The lovely Bling My Creation is going to do it for me, so ladies follow her too. But and there will be 3 gift certificates for 3 free V-steams. So grab your ladies and let's do this. I love groups. I love the reactions.
It's a great way to bond.
And honestly, the conversations you hear, it would amaze you. I have heard it all. I've heard it all.
Some real, just my one experience. I was like,
you talk about everything from politics, religion, sex, men. Most guys think all we do is talk about boys the whole time, but no. That's probably like the last thing we talk about.
It's the last thing, yeah. It really isn't. We're sorry. We also don't get
guys.
dressed for you. We dress for each other.
That's it.
And ourselves.
That is it. Sorry, late.
Sorry to let you know.
Although men always love when their girls come, though.
Yeah?
Because so it increases your sexual experience. So it will make it nice and sensitive. And lately, these days, I've been hearing a lot more women that haven't been coming back, or like, my boyfriend said I need to come back because sex is not as good, or I'm not as fresh anymore. And men can notice the difference when you do steam for when you know. And like, for instance, my husband knows as soon as I steam, it's about to be a great sex day, because it's just like everything is better. It just intensifies your juiciness. All your sensitivity is heightened. So like, if you just touch your vagina after you steam, it's just like, oh. I like that feeling. So it's a good thing.
And how often do you recommend doing it?
It depends on why you want to do one. So if you're, for instance, I have helped women become pregnant because infertility is a thing, obviously, as we know. And I have met women along the way that have told me, the doctors told them they can never get pregnant again. I've done a lot of research into V-steaming, so I know it could help assist with preparing the womb. So I have V-steamed women, and I have gotten women, I have a ton of messages like, I'm pregnant. The doctor told me I was not pregnant, and I've helped women come out of depression because they're like, this is real, this is happening. I have a whole folder of ultrasounds, but I'm not going to post someone's ultrasound because that's personal, you know what I mean? But like, people send me their ultrasounds, and people send me their baby shower pictures, and it's an exciting thing.
That is wonderful.
So it depends on why you want to get one done. So if you're trying to get pregnant, I would say steam as much as you can. As much as you can get in a month, do it. As opposed to someone that just wants a regular maintenance, you can just come once a month. That's all you need. Or if you're worrying about your menstrual, come once before your menstrual and come once after, because another misconception is when you steam, things are going to fall out. Things are going to drop down into this thing and it's going to be uncomfortable, which is not what happens. It actually comes through your regular monthly menstrual. So the toxins will start chipping away, and then they start coming out through your normal cycle. So it's not inconveniencing your body. Women worry about, let's say, discharge. It actually kills your discharge because it's setting your pH balance back on track and keeping your body from having to discharge anything, because if your toxins are all rid, what are you going to discharge? You've already gotten it out. I steam once a week. I steam every single Friday because you're not putting anything harmful into your body. I'm using all natural herbs and water. And if we can digest these herbs to heal our body, we can steam them too.
Awesome. And so a few tips. Give us a few tips.
Tips. Drink lots of water. We all know drinking H2O is great for our body overall, but it's also great for our vaginas as well. So as you're drinking the water, you're flushing everything automatically to come out. Fix your eating. You are what you eat. I gave a lovely array of fruits that you can eat. But you want to touch on pineapples.
Yes, so pineapples are like, there's so many things on the internet about pineapples. And they say that it actually increases, it makes men and women taste sweeter. So this is facts.
You are what you eat.
You are what you eat. Eat
You
pineapple.
are what you eat. Eat pineapples, eat watermelon, eat mangoes, eat anything nice and sweet because that will make down their sweet. Take your vitamins. A lot of women can't get certain things during the day. So, and as a mother, as your mother, sometimes we forget to eat. Sometimes we're so busy with everything that we just don't have the time to get in the vitamins. So pop a multivitamin in so that your body can at least get the supplement that you're missing.
The reason I'm laughing is I can't tell you how many times I've gone to bed and I'm like, oh, I'm hungry, and I just can't eat.
I forget to pee sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot I had to use the bathroom like 2 hours ago because you're just always moving. Exercise. The greatest exercise for your vaginas are Kegels.
Kegels.
I'm doing one now. Every time I say the word Kegel, I can't help but Kegel because they're the most private exercise that you can do. And there's so many ways. A lot of women don't know how to Kegel, which is another taboo topic because women don't know how to do it properly, so they're afraid to talk about it because they don't. I don't know why.
I'm looking, I guess you can't see my face, but I'm looking at her
I
funny.
don't know why.
And men can do Kegels, women can do Kegels. I've seen a lot of great tips. One of them was every time you're at a stoplight, do Kegels. Another one, like what she just said, every time you say Kegel, do Kegels. Every
I did
time
it again.
passes
I
through
can't
your
help
mind,
it.
Just do
it.
it.
But women can't find, because you have to be able to do it correctly, because if you're Kegling and you're doing it to the wrong, I don't know if that's a word either, but I made it up. It's a word now. But even if you're doing your Kegels and you don't know if you're doing it right, if you are now working a muscle that's not even close to your vagina, then you're actually harming your vagina. Okay. So one biggest thing that I read, and I did post about it too, is that when you're peeing, stop peeing.
In midstream.
And that's the muscle that you're looking to Kegel.
That's how you Kegel.
That's
All
it.
you gotta do is when you're peeing, stop midstream. Pee for a bit, stop. And that's the muscle that you need to work. And, you know, even that ability to be able to stop in midstream, what you'll notice is over time where you couldn't really stop it and it was still kind of going, then you could bring it to a dead stop. It's like any other muscle, including the muscle in here. Work your brain, guys. Get out of your comfort zone. Research things. Ask questions.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Because there's probably a bunch of women that have that same question, and if all it takes is one person to talk about it and bring it up. And this is why I kind of like doing groups and events as well, is because once you start talking, I noticed the whole room starts talking about vagina.
Yeah, exactly.
And then everyone starts getting comfortable with each other, and that's when the cross knowledge starts going, like, this is what I did, or this is what I did.
This
and
is
then
what I've
people
experienced.
start becoming more comfortable, and then that whole tense of like, oh, vagina, oh my gosh, can't talk about that, starts loosening up, and then people are like, oh hell. So anyways,
this is what had happened.
This is what had happened, and this is what I want. I want people to be able to call their friend and be like, hey, this is what's going on. What can we do?
And something you said before, and I do agree with that. I mean, we're not telling you to go put your bits all over the place. It is a private thing. But there's a difference between a private thing and a taboo thing, or a private thing and a secret thing that no one knows. Why would you want to own something you can't use? And you have the owner's manual. And the other thing she's going to touch on is knowing how to use your own stuff.
Yes, look at your vaginas, ladies. We have been talking about this all day. Get a mirror, throw that down, and take a look at your vagina. Check it out. Don't be scared.
There are so many women, adult women in this world, that don't know what their own stuff looks like.
And don't be afraid to explore. Masturbation is very good because if you don't know how to pleasure yourself, how do you expect anyone else to? So you have to be able to explore your body to know this is your, like she said, your manual. So you have to know how your manual works inside out.
But I think that a lot of women were raised to believe that there is a man that is going to teach you how to work your own self. And he's going to know better how to work you than you. And that is never, ever,
how does that
ever,
work? He doesn't
ever,
even have a vagina.
How is
he going to know?
And so you should know what pleases you, what sensations, what pressures, what speed, and so forth. Because it is you. And just like, you know what, if you have an issue with your ears, you will find out about your ears or whatever else. We live in age of so much information. There's so much information out there. And there's also a lot of misinformation. But by doing some research, by looking at sources, by implementing some common sense, borrowing someone else's if you're lacking, you can find out so much. Yeah. So for those of you who joined us today, thank you so much. This is the very first of many, many, many taboo topics.
I'll be back, ladies.
She will be back.
I got
you will
more
find
tips.
us.
I got more.
She got
a lot.
all kinds of stuff. And I'm really glad to be able to have this discussion with you. I'm really, really happy to be able to open up the doors to speak about things that we should be able to speak about, and to give people knowledge maybe they didn't have, or to plant that seed of curiosity that makes you explore more. So for all the men and women out there that watch this episode, you feel it's of value, please share it. Pass it on. Pass on the link. We'll be posting the replay link at the end of the show. I thank you all for joining. I will be back again next week, as always, on Tuesday. Always happy to be here. Next week, my guest is Paulina. I'm really, really excited to have her. We've got an amazing woman with some amazing information on branding and entrepreneurship and being a millennial and how to navigate that whole world. So I will see you next Tuesday at 6 o'clock. Thank you again. Thank you, Anisha. You're so awesome.
Bye,
and thank you all for joining me. Drop me a line. Let me know what you thought. Have a good night.
Thank you for having me.